Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Triangle Offense. I'm Munish, as always, joined by Nishant. On today's episode, I wanted to speak about the teams that are contesting for the play-in spot. Because in a recent episode, we spoke about the Nuggets and the Jazz, who are actually competing for the top four. But I think the 8, 9, 10 spot are equally important as well. 7 is kind of taken by the Mavs, so we won't talk much about them. But 8, 9, 10 is pretty interesting because one big team is in there, the Warriors. We did kind of predict this at the start of the season that a Clay Thompson less Warriors is not good enough for the playoffs. Steph Curry will do all he can to put them in the playoff position, and he looks like he's doing more than he can, but they're still struggling in 10th spot. They beat the Bucks, which was an incredible performance by Steph. But do you think it's sustainable? How long can he keep doing this? 10th spot, do you think that's as high as they can get? Because on their day, they can beat even the strongest of strong teams. But doing it consistently, I don't see that happening. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, on their day, anyone can beat anyone. That's why it's called their day. I don't think. I think that's about as best as can be said about this team. Is it sustainable? What they're doing so far, can they do it for the rest of the regular season? Yeah, why not? I mean, um, this is why you consider Steph. Most people consider Steph one of the top 10, 15 players to ever play the game. Even when you take away the fact that he's changed the game of basketball, even without that influence, just play style, numbers, impact on wins. And this is why. Can he do it for the rest of whatever remains in this season? Yeah, absolutely. Well, the question is, he'll do it, and then what? What in the playoffs? Do we expect this team to do anything to anyone in the playoffs? Get a few. Their best case scenario is getting a few upset games, not a series. That's about as much as they can hope for. Like if they stretch a series to six against just about anyone in the West, that's an achievement. That's probably overachievement. How did they get here though? And how is it that it's astounding to me. I just don't get it, right? On one hand, there's the absolute disrespect or taken for granted nature of the Steph Curry rhetoric.
Right?
Either he's not recognized for how great he truly is, or he's just taken for granted. So whenever he does some of the great things one would expect him to do, it's almost like, yeah, he did it. What's the big deal? Like it's Steph Curry. What's the big? It's a bit of that LeBron taken for granted impact. Like if you had a young player come into the league and after
Mm-hmm.
a few seasons do what LeBron does today at age 36, it'll blow your mind. Like you won't hear the end of it. But when
Right.
it's LeBron, you kind of like, it's taken for granted. Steph Curry has a bit of that going, quite a lot of that going. So there's that on one hand. And then on the other hand, the same people will turn around and tell you the squad is a Clay Thompson away from taking the chip. No, they're not. I don't think they
Yeah.
are. I believed that at some point. I thought there
Mm-hmm.
was. I thought we'd see the old Draymond back. James Wiseman looked like a promising pick. Kelly Oubre, whatever Wiggins. Either they'd come good or they get traded, right? But the core
Right.
is always Steph, Draymond, and Clay. I'm not so sure anymore, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
because of Steph Curry. If anything, I think he's matured even further as a leader. I think he's become even more clutch. He was a bit suspect earlier in that department, but
Mm-hmm.
he's come clutch so many times now. He well and truly is at that stage where his skill set was always there, but his experience, decision making, wisdom, all of this has contributed to basketball being easy for him now. It flows too easily, and you see that only with more experienced players after they've been around for a while. Um,
Right.
I don't, I just don't get how this team got here. Clay Thompson's injury is one thing, KD's departure is another. They had a choice. They had a very high lottery pick. They had the number two. Number
Mm-hmm.
two was it James? Yeah,
Yep.
number two
Yep.
draft pick. Could have traded it. They could have
Mm-hmm.
traded it, flipped him for a pretty high value player. I'm pretty sure they would have got quite a lot in return. Maybe throw in like a Pascal or something and get a player in return. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you show Steph Curry. We're in it for the now. You're not getting any younger. You still
Right.
have a lot of basketball to give. Here's how we show you. We're not taking you for granted. We're putting you in the best possible place to win a chip, whatever we can do. I don't think they did that. They went got in a young starlet who,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course, he's had shaky performances, but he's young. It's fine. You expect that. Uh, I wouldn't like if I'm Steph Curry and I'm counting down the years left of elite basketball in me and I want to win a chip.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I being pushed into this development project right now? Maybe James Wiseman's the next Kareem or whatever. What does he care? He has a few years left on his contract. So he can do it. He'll get them to the playoffs, whatever. But I don't think it ends there. I think they'll get screwed in the playoffs. And I don't think next season's as rosy as people are painting it out to be, even if Clay
Mhm.
Thompson comes. It's a playoff team for sure. But I don't think they're putting dents in anyone's title chances.
Yeah, how did they get there, right? Because Andrew Wiggins, he's actually having a career year. He's averaging 18. He's kind of playing better than what we expected of him.
So
Oubre has been on and off. Wiseman hasn't developed the way we expected.
yeah.
Draymond has turned into a completely different player from what
Oh,
we knew of him from 3 years ago. He used to be this 20-point triple double guy, and
yeah.
he's not even scoring 10. He's not taking more than 5 shots a game. So it's kind of surprising what he's turned into this 40-year-old veteran where he's just around 30. So
Yeah.
it's kind of surprising how they've regressed so much. What do you think has happened? Do you think the 3-point game has just caught up so much that other teams have closed the gap with Warriors? Steph Curry is still the best 3-point shooter in the league, but all the other teams have now closed up. Because if you look at, say, 2015, 2016 Warriors, there was nobody who was shooting at this elite level, or the volume of shots was not this many, right? But now every team does this. So, and the Warriors have not evolved. They've kind of stayed stagnant. And also the quality is not there. Of course, with Clay Thompson, you lose a lot of that, but
Yeah.
the others are not as good either. So
Yeah. I
do you
mean,
think that is
I was gonna say we can't talk about other teams catching up with the 3-point thing when one half of the Splash Brothers is out. If you have Steph and Clay on the court, I don't know who the hell has caught up with that kind of 3-point. Nobody. I can't think of a team in the league, not even the
Mhm.
Nets. Nobody that can bomb like that from three. They have a big chunk of their three shooting missing. So that's one. Second, I would buy that in a world and a league where it's definitively proven that 3-point shooting is the only way to go.
Mhm.
Where I don't think Lakers are an atrocious 3-point shooting team. They still were last season when they waltzed their way to a championship in the bubble. So it can be done. So 3-point shooting isn't the only answer. It's a highly effective way to go about it. It's not the only way. And what made the Warriors truly great, the 3-point shooting was a component of that. The fluid team ball, the off the ball movement, the screens, the getting open, the Steph creating his own shot, Draymond getting a bunch of points, Clay Thompson being a spot up set shot machine. And this is even before they added KD, right? It just became
Yep.
unfair after that. But even before that, and a big chunk of that was also depth. We forget about the depth of the Warriors having.
Right.
I mean, the immense luxury of having an Iguodala that still had a lot to give. He was Finals MVP for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Having him come off the bench, have a Livingston come off the bench. This veteran depth, they've been missing that too. Who do they have
Mhm.
off the bench now? What Bazemore, Pascal? What the? So uh, they've been missing a bunch of stuff. It's not just the 3-point shooting catching up. And I'll tell you what, in this team, when you have
Mhm.
like pick any starting five that the Warriors have put on the court. Let's say Steph, Kelly Oubre Jr., Wiggins,
Mhm.
Draymond, and James Wiseman. Right?
Right.
James Wiseman, first year in the league, shaky, jittery, whatever. That's okay. What do you expect from a rookie? But Draymond
Mhm.
just doesn't shoot. I'm not talking about shooting well. He doesn't shoot. Have you
Yep.
seen how teams defend him? Like if Draymond has the ball in the perimeter, nobody comes anywhere close. Nobody even bothers trying to move. They know he's going to pass. He's not going to take that shot. And if they take that shot, if he takes that shot, they live with it.
Yep.
He's been that abysmal. So Draymond's not shooting. James Wiseman doesn't get very much except under the rim and in the paint in the low post. And there's Steph Curry, who always shoots whatever he's always been shooting. Now you have Kelly Oubre Jr. and Andrew Wiggins, both of whom get plenty of looks, plenty of
Mhm.
opportunities, and Steph Curry creating shots for them, and Draymond, who still is a pretty good passer. They've both been averaging less points per game than the previous seasons in their respective teams. Wiggins at least shoots the three decently well, although he doesn't attempt as many.
Yep.
He's no Klay Thompson.
He's a
Kelly Oubre
40% from three this year.
yeah. So he's pretty good. I think he's like 5 point something attempts a game. It's not bad. It's kind of
Yeah.
like average. Kelly Oubre is disgusting from three. That's about as
Yep.
best as. And some of that is because of his atrocious start to the season, but I don't think he's done himself too many favors since then either. So when you look at this Warriors team, you take Steph Curry out of the equation, they're unwatchable.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
like NCAA rookie teams play a whole lot better than what they play without Steph Curry. And I don't buy the argument of Steph Curry, Oubre, and Draymond on the floor are decent together. That's just Steph Curry. He's making all of them look good. None of them have done anything to merit it. So this is a one-man team. I don't know how they got here. I think they've mismanaged their squad to some extent. I don't think getting Wiseman was the best move. And it feels a bit, I know this is a different sport, but this is Tom Brady-esque because you're now hearing those rumors rising, right? And it was unheard of. Nobody ever thought Steph Curry would leave Dub Nation. This is a one and done, one
Right.
club for life kind of player. And the rumors are coming in thick and fast. Of course, when it's LeBron, Steph Curry, you're gonna write about it because it'll get you clicks. That's like a double SEO bonanza
Yeah.
as a content writer. But um, this feels very Brady-esque, where instead of spending money getting Brady the support that he needed, putting weapons around him, building blah blah blah, or investing in an offensive line, the Patriots kind of went the other way, didn't really pay Brady, and Brady walked. Nobody ever thought Tom Brady would leave the Patriots, but he walked, and sure as hell, he picked up a Super Bowl his first season in another franchise. This feels a bit like that. You had a high draft pick. You had a bunch of pieces to trade. I mean, you got in Wiggins at one point. You got in um, Kelly Oubre, and you have picks coming up too. What are you going to do with all those draft picks when you've got an aging Steph Curry and possibly an aging Klay Thompson? Shouldn't you
Right.
be investing in the now to deliver chips? Draft picks are not going to get you chips. They'll get you a future.
Right.
And if you're already planning for the future, where does Steph Curry figure in that? Is this
Yep.
is this it? Is this the rest of his career? Grooming James Wiseman and whoever the hell else comes in and trying to just fingers crossed hope that Kelly Oubre shoots threes better. Uh, they're they've not done themselves any favor. I think the squad's been mismanaged to a great deal, and you're going to hear a lot of murmurs now about Steve Kerr and how overrated he was. Because every time Dub Nation drops a few games, that's the first thing you'll hear. I
Yeah.
don't buy that 1 second. Even if you have Steph, Clay, and KD and Draymond and all of these mercurial egos in one room, it takes a hell of a lot of man management to get all that to work and deliver them a championship. So I don't buy that at all. But you're going to hear a lot of that too.
Totally agree. Do you think the Warriors are putting all their eggs in one basket? Nobody expected them to win a championship this year after the Klay Thompson injury, but you were expected to be a playoff team, and you might still be a playoff team, all because of Steph Curry. Now the hope is that Klay Thompson comes back next year and remains as good as he was before his injuries in plural, and Draymond Green magically starts becoming the Draymond Green from 3 years back. That's the hope. Do you think it's a little far fetched?
Uh, no, if you each of those things sounds all right, plausible. But the hope is that all of this then translates to a chip or at least a
Hmm.
deep playoff run. That's where I think this falls apart. Where would Clay Thompson come into this team? At the expense of whom exactly? Kelly Oubre Jr.? Okay.
Yep.
You still have a largely underperforming Wiggins, and everyone keeps saying he's great, he's this, he's that. He's a number one draft pick and he costs a lot of draft capital to move and a lot of trade capital to move. Doesn't play like he's worth it. Just
Hmm.
doesn't. His defense is not up to the mark. His offense is nothing to write home about. He's okay. He's an above average scorer. That's about it. So they've got that dude, where they used to earlier have an Iguodala, if not a Kevin Durant. They have Draymond, who's 4 or 5 years on from when he was last a monster. And he hasn't been this season, even with Steph Curry on the floor. So they'll have some diminished version of Draymond Green. I don't think he's that defender anymore. And that's a huge blow. Losing that level of a defender and getting back maybe 60% of that, that's a
Hmm.
huge blow. And then they
Right.
have James Wiseman. Who knows what he turns into? But if all of these other pieces align, they can live with Wiseman not being
Hmm.
spectacular. But I still don't think it's a chip winning team. I still don't think it's even a conference finals team. Even with Clay, they'll have to make some moves. They'll have to move
Right.
Wiggins and maybe a couple of
They
draft
have that
pieces to
huge
get in a wing.
Minnesota draft which they can
Correct.
trade for.
Right. So, which they should have, I thought they should have done that this season. They should
Yeah.
have moved, Wiggins and maybe Wiseman's pick, which eventually became Wiseman, and even another pick and get in, land a big wing. Like injury concerns aside, why weren't they in the market for Gordon Hayward or any
Right.
of the other wings that were moving around? Uh, so that's the piece that didn't make sense to me because if you get Klay Thompson back and you have a high-powered two-way wing, then now we're talking. That's a chip winning team.
Right.
But at this stage, I think what the world really needs is for Steph Curry to move to the Lakers. I don't think there's much to do in
No, the
Golden
world
State
does not
anymore.
need that.
Let's make it
Before you
happen,
get
man.
started on that, I think we've had enough for today's episode. Steph Curry is not moving to the Lakers. That's a little too greedy.
Yeah, when we go into these kind of trade rumors, it's the end of the episode. It's time to go.
All right, then we should come back tomorrow and talk about the remaining teams that are contending for the play-in spots. That'll be a fun conversation. Zion is putting up record numbers. Sacramento Kings are doing okay. Memphis Grizzlies have been on fire, so that'll be a fun conversation. But let's talk about that tomorrow.
All right, man. Just sounds good.
Bye.